Welcome back to Creator's Lost Art. My name is Ron, and welcome to the most important room in my house, my throne room. Well, every dad needs his own throne room, just ask his wife. More specifically, this is our utility room where married socks go to get divorced. And today, I'm going to show you guys how to save a little bit of energy. Years ago, I installed this tankless water heater, and it's been absolutely the best upgrade that we have done in this house. We used to have a 30-gallon tanked water heater, and take a shower, wife takes a shower, and by the time the kids get in there, they're freezing and they're screaming. So this thing was a great upgrade. But periodically, the manufacturer recommends that you clean these guys to clean out any kind of scale that gets built up on the inside of the tubes. It's a very simple process. It's very cheap, and it will save you money because you're not using as much energy to heat your water. Recently, I've noticed that our water doesn't seem to be getting quite as hot. It's set on 120 degrees. And by looking at my log here, it's been 2 years since I've done this. So I'm going to show you guys how simple it is to clean your water heater, easy maintenance. Okay, so the materials to complete this task are, you need a submersible pump. This is the same pump that I use to pump the water out of the creek up at the cabin and into our holding tank. And I just brought it back because it'll serve the same purpose. I had to add an adapter so that the washing machine hoses, you could use the hoses directly off your washing machine, but I have an extra set. And then 3 to 4 gallons of distilled white vinegar and a relatively clean bucket. To start, we're going to pull the power off of this water heater. If you guys are planning to install this one of these machines yourself or have a plumbing company install them, insist that they add the valve package, the service valve packages, because while it is possible to install this without it, there is no way to service it if you don't. So it's just a great thing. The next thing we're going to do is close these valves, the supply valves. That means no cold water coming in, no hot water going out. All right, next up, pull the caps off of the service side. Make sure that these valves are closed before you do so. A little bit of scale in there. And then we're going to connect our hoses. Make sure they have the rubber washes in them. Doesn't really matter what color goes where. Well, I'm not sure which way the manufacturer recommends that you pump the vinegar. I'm going to pump it in reverse from how it normally works. So I'm going to pump the vinegar into the outlet and out of the inlet on the water heater, if that makes sense. So I know I connected my blue hose to the outlet. I'm going to connect it to the outlet on the pump. And then the other hose I'm just going to stick down in the bucket. All right, pour the vinegar in the bucket. It just needs to be enough to, probably half of the bucket, a little more, but enough to cover the sump part of the pump so that it doesn't suck any air. Next, before turning on the pump, I'm going to open the service valves. There's going to be a little bit of water in here. It can drain back in the bucket, that's fine. And then finally, I am going to hold onto this hose. Yeah, it's got some water in it. hold on to this hose while I plug the pump in. The pump is running, spitting out a little bit of air. And now we're pumping pure vinegar through the water heater, clean out the scale. I'm going to let that run for an hour. Okay, while the pump is inside doing its thing, doing the work, a quick explanation as to why this is important. So using this piece of copper, and copper is one of the best heat transfer materials there is. Inside of that heater, there's a probably 30 or 40, maybe 50 feet of slightly smaller than this copper tubing that makes a coil. In the middle of that coil is a heat source that heats the outside of the pipe as the water runs through the inside. Well, scale buildup is a tremendous insulator, and demonstrating the scale with this, as the scale builds up on the inside of the pipe, especially in areas that have really hard water. Fortunately, ours isn't that bad. That's why I only have to do it every 2 years. It creates a layer of insulation, so as it heats up, it's not getting through and it's not heating the water that's coming through. So if we can get rid of the scale using the vinegar, we can bring it back to the most energy efficient heat transfer that we can. Okay, so it's been about an hour. The first thing I'm going to do is going to be unplug the pump. Close the service valves. It will drain back some. Close the service valves and disconnect. Put the caps back on. Drop those right back down in the bucket. Next, I'm going to open the supply valve. Open the leaving valve. And then, without plugging the water heater back in, open the hot side on the sink and just let it run for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we plug the water heater back in. Let it go through its startup. And then turn the hot water back on and check for operation. If you have not invested in a tankless water heater and you have one that looks similar to this, whether it be an electric one or a gas one, it has a supply valve, cold water supply valve, a hot water leaving valve, a temperature and pressure or pressure relief valve, and then it has a drain valve. And the most important thing that you can do for yearly maintenance for your tanked water heater is connect a garden hose right here, run it outside of your house while leaving the supply valve on. Stick a screwdriver in here, open this valve, and flush out any of the sediment that's living in the bottom of the tank. It will also help prevent this valve from becoming plugged up with that sediment, and if you ever have to have it changed, from a service guy's point of view, this thing's plugged up. It is a headache to try to get the water out of these things. So think about investing in the tankless one. It's been a great upgrade for my house. If not, take care of what you got. Thanks for watching.